Welcome back to another Breakthrough podcast, Discovering New Pathways. You know who I am, Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. All right, so this is brought to you by the MBDA, the Minority Business Development Agency out of Washington, D.C., and EDAC, the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center at Morgan State University. Before we get to the co-host and our special guest here, just want to let you know that you can find us on Instagram at Ride Small Biz. That's Ride Small Biz, B-I-Z. As well as you can find us on our website at edacmorgan.com. That's edacmorgan.com. And just to let you know that we have this podcast, we also have an entrepreneurship one-on-one training. We have continuing education through our RIDE University. Just no more than 10-minute workshops that we do. And you can find those on the EDAC Morgan website as well. We also have our relationship with the Returning Citizens magazine and our annual event, which is coming up in August the 20th. So bookmark that, save the date from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So without further ado, we're going to get right to it. As you can see, we have a special guest. I want to introduce you to Dr. Ron Garrett, and he is the director of the Bridge Center at Adams House. Dr. Garrett, welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast. How are you?
Awesome. Glad to be here. I really appreciate the invitation to come and hang out with you today.
All right, good deal. Thank you for hanging out with me. So but let's jump right into it. So let's first talk about who are you? Why should people be listening to you?
Well, my name is Ron Garrett, and I serve currently as the director of the Bridge Center at Adams House, which is Prince George's County's one-stop shop for returning citizens, veterans, and transitional age youth. But prior to getting to this place, I am also a returning citizen. So I think I do know a thing or two about reentry. I happen to, if I could place it this way, I had a 20-year missionary journey. A 20-year missionary journey inside of the Georgia Department of Corrections. So we'll talk more about that as we move on.
All right, well, let's get right to it, because that's one of the questions that we always ask, how long have you been home?
And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, my little situation is somewhat unique. I've only been in the community a little over 3 years. I served from September the 4th of 1998 to September the 4th of 2018. So again, a little over 3 years I've been back into the community.
All right, so after returning home, what were your plans?
Actually, my plan was to remain in Georgia and to, do some work in the reentry space in Georgia. I work quite a bit with developing a reentry dorm model or therapeutic community model in the Georgia Department of Corrections. So I was actually looking forward to continuing to work with that initiative, but from the outside in. So that was my plan. But I ended up, I have some family members in the DMV, and I actually came up to visit, and I haven't looked back since.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you here in the DMV. So let's talk about, when we talk to returning citizens, especially when they're coming out, and then when they, jump from, coming out there and then they get into entrepreneurship, your transition, talk to us about your transition. Was it smooth, or were there challenges?
And like I said, my transition was it was a little bit unique because of I was afforded to do a few things while I was doing my 20 years of incarceration. I was able to complete a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree while incarcerated. And during my incarceration, I served at most of the facilities as the chaplain's assistant, which allowed me to have access to computers and things of that nature. So my learning curve upon being released wasn't as great as many others. I was able to do my last year in Georgia at a place called the Augusta Transitional Center, where we had an opportunity to work in the community, save up some money, and I had a unique opportunity to become employed by an organization called New Skill as a business a business developer. And so that was interesting. I had remote work for my first job coming back in the community. So that's interesting,
Yes.
concerning where we are now with the pandemic. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're with the health department for Prince George's County. So that's what you're doing now. You want to talk a little bit about that work?
Correct. Absolutely. And so, like I said, when I first served here in the DMV as the regional reentry coordinator in Washington, D.C. Then last year, in March of last year of 2021, I came to work for the Bridge Center at Adams House, which is an entity of the Prince George's County Health Department. We are a interagency collaboration between the Health Department, Department of Social Services, Department of Family Services, Department of Corrections, Employ Prince George's, which is the county's one of the county's primary workforce development providers, and about 30 community-based organizations. And as I said at the outset, we provide services to returning citizens, veterans, and transitional age youth.
So talk about those services. So somebody that's coming out or somebody that's already out, what type of services are you providing?
The service, behavioral health care, of course, substance abuse treatment programming. We have a new program called Uplift, where we provide transportation for our clients to and from meetings with case managers here at the Bridge Center, the case manager with the Department of Corrections or parole officers, to and from job interviews. While they're in job training programs, we provide transportation to and from. And then when persons are actually become employed, there's still, a couple of weeks or so before they get that first check. So we assist them with transportation for those first couple of weeks. We have great partnerships that provide clothing, food assistance, transitional housing, which is a key component. The Denny House and the Damascus House are doing a magnificent job providing transitional housing to our clients here in Prince George's County.
So is it specific to Prince George's County, or can we refer people to you out of Baltimore?
Okay, you can refer folks to us out of Baltimore, but the thing that will be required is that they would actually have to establish a residence here in Prince George's County. And we do assist clients working through that process. Another program is that we actually pay for IDs and driver's licenses for our returning citizen clients as well.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's good to know. One of the things that I'm always finding out is resources, the ecosystem. And one of the things that we're good at entrepreneurship.
Right.
It comes down to the other challenges that returning citizens have and will have. We need that support system as well. So if we can refer people to, we definitely do that. And my co-host, Leon Robinson. Me, Dr.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Garrett.
Dr. Garrett, good afternoon, brother. Sorry for my tardiness. I had to take a call, but thanks so much for joining, man.
Absolutely. Great to meet you, Leon.
Likewise.
All right. So let's jump into it. So you are a returning citizen, you're working to support returning citizen. So talk to us about, you changing the narrative. How are you changing the narrative? Well, what is the narrative that you talk about?
The narrative, I mean, there was a time when Washington, D.C. did not have the vast amount of reentry programming that's current and resources that are currently available. And so I was living in Prince George's County, working in Washington, D.C., and I would hear all the time that, clients have to go from Prince George's County and get services in Washington, D.C. And I said, that can't be correct, right? Something has got to, so I began to do a little investigation. I came across the Bridge Center at Adams House and became acquainted with the services that were provided. I also discovered that there were a great number of services provided in the county, but folks were doing so in silos. They weren't communicating with one another. They weren't referring clients for mutual support. So the Bridge Center at Adams House, hence the bridge. We not only connect resource providers, but we also connect our clients with the vast number of resources that are in Prince George's County.
I like that. So were you responsible for that?
Well, I could say, I wish I could say I was responsible, but I'm not.
Yeah.
The Bridge Center at Adams House was actually opened in 2018 with the mission to serve returning citizens, veterans, and transitional age youth.
Yeah.
Over the past year, my primary goal has been to, or function, I'll say, has been to create awareness in the community that the Bridge Center exists and the vast amount of resources that are available through our community-based partners. And so that has been the number one task at hand, if you will, for the last year of my service here at the Bridge Center.
Absolutely. And did I hear you say 30 partners that you're working with?
Yes, 30 community-based partners, 30 community-based partners around reentry, 15 community-based partners around transitional age youth, and 8 community-based partners around providing services to veterans.
A lot of resources.
Yeah. And the thing that's, and I think I said, the Bridge Center is the one-stop shop, right? Yeah. So the core partners, the health department, we have about 21 staff members, clinical case managers, counselors, peer support workers. The Department of Social Services has 2 staff members here at our office. Department of Family Services provides NAP Vets, which is a National Association of Black Veterans. Oh, yeah. They have office here at our location. Employee Prince George's, who is the workforce development provider for the county. They have an office here at our location. So, and we have several of our community-based partners as well, Catholic Charities, the Denny House, Damascus House, and all of our partners who have a need to meet with clients in the community. We provide, office space for them to do so here at this location.
All right. So I know this is focused on returning citizens, but you piqued my interest with the vets. Mm-hmm. So these vets, what type of services are you providing for them? And let me say this before you answer that question. So we also work with vets, but again, the work that we're doing is around entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So we're working, first of all, working with women of color who are vets and entrepreneurs. So that's why I'm asking the question. Maybe there's some support that we can offer them if they're interested in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And so a couple of our transitional house providers, one being the Denny House, they actually provide housing for veterans as well, transitional housing for veterans. Okay. One of those locations happens to be for women with children, whether they are returning citizens or whether they are veterans. She has services available for both. Also, all of the available benefits that veterans have access to. Yes. Our NAP Vets volunteers, that is their primary purpose. But of course, things like behavioral health care supports are also available through our partners here at the Bridge Center.
Okay, wow. I mean, it seems like the Bridge is the place to be, for those type of resources. And now I have a better understanding of, the resources that you have there. Because we work with, although we work with returning citizens and vets throughout the state of Maryland. Mm-hmm. Now, those in Prince George's County, we can say, hey, do you know about the Bridge program with Dr. Garrett? So definitely appreciate that. So I do want to go back just a little bit about, when you first came home, what were your plans?
Well, I mean, like I said, I was gonna stay in Georgia. I have a couple of brothers, an aunt and uncle that are here in the DMV, actually in Prince George's County for, going on now over 15, 18 years. And so they were just telling me about there's so many more opportunities here than in Georgia. And so I actually came up to visit, to be quite honest. I didn't plan on staying. And I saw a news segment on MORCA, on the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizen Affairs in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
And they were doing a story on the director. His name was Brian Ferguson.
Mhm.
And when they told me that he was a returning citizen and he's leading the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizen Affairs in Washington, D.C., of
Yeah.
course, the next day I went there, and the rest is history. I was able to get connected with a job opportunity with through Catholic Charities as the regional reentry coordinator. And I keep saying that one of the things that makes my reentry a little bit unique is the fact that when I came home, my family said, they set me down and said, number one, you're not getting ready to get a job right away. You don't need to get a job right away.
Mm.
Here is not a bag of clothes, but this closet, and this closet, that's your stuff.
Wow.
Here's some keys. So I can't take, I don't take, because it was the great family support that I was able to come home to that made a world of difference, which is what makes me so passionate about the work that I do now. Is because providing that family support network for individuals who do not have that platform to start from is vital.
Mm.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Because I had the support coming home as well. I'm a returning citizen as well, and that actually made a huge difference in just how I transitioned from incarceration back into the real world. And a lot of people can't say that. So I applaud you for using, how you were able to benefit from your family support and trying or working towards providing those type of opportunities to others. So I can resonate. I resonate with that a lot, man.
If I could on that thought,
please.
there's so many people that people like Brian Ferguson, who is like I said, the executive director for the Mayor's Office on Returning Citizen Affairs, Lamont Curry, who is now the director of MORCA, myself, and a number of other individuals who have been able to, have a significant impact in the reentry community after being released from, and Mr. Leon Robinson as well. But the thing that I wish the community could understand, or society could understand, is that there are hundreds of Ron Garretts. They just don't have the support needed to start the way that I did. You with me? And so that's what makes me so passionate about this work.
And we definitely appreciate that. So let's, as we are going out, winding up, what's your contact information, website? How can people learn more about what you do?
If I could, it would be, I'm trying to think of my ron@ronaldgarrett.com. That's, personally, but being able to connect more to the Bridge Center at Adams House services, the Bridge Center at Adams House, Google the Bridge Center at Adams House, and we're on the county website.
All right, good deal. And so we always ask this question too, what advice would you give to other returning citizens, especially those who are thinking about entrepreneurship? What advice would you give to those individuals?
And I would say entrepreneurship, because I didn't say a lot about that, but the organization that actually gave me my first job while I was at the Transitional Center was an organization called Pentorship, or Square Up.
Oh,
and Miss Christine Daniel, who is still one of my mentors to today, I went through a course with her called Square Up, which is a course in entrepreneurial thinking.
Yeah.
It changed my life. And so individuals who are looking to, there's another word, entrepreneurship.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
When people are able to, getting a job that may not be, especially that entry-level job, is, of course, it's not the end all be all, but it is a step. It is an opportunity. And if we will treat it right, and if we will make ourselves a sponge and have the correct attitude in that process, companies are looking for people that they can hire and promote, but you got to be willing to do the work.
Yeah.
I'm on mute, y'all.
No
Yeah,
worries.
so entrepreneurship, that's one of the things that I say to individuals all the time who are working for other people.
Right.
Combining that, I mean, it's basically you combining that not basically, it's providing that entrepreneurial thinking to those individuals that are working for other people. So, yep, definitely
Right.
appreciate that. All right. So square up. We definitely got circle back on that. I know you and I we spoke about that. So
Mhm.
we got to circle back on that. So did you give out your advice, man? I got caught up in you talking about.
Oh, my advice. That's right. So my advice would be when anyone that is returning to the community, the opportunity that is right in front of you is the best opportunity in the world, no matter what it looks like right now at this moment. And if you will treat it like an opportunity and not the end all be all, it'll change your life. Patience, patience, patience. Getting to where where we've been dreaming about for those 10 years in prison, 15 years in prison, buying that home, buying that car, all of those things will come, but it takes one step at a time. And I would say in closing, surround yourself with old, gray-headed, bald-headed people. The greatest mistake I ever made in my life was rejecting the wisdom that was all around me. Surround yourself with people who have been there and done that, and be willing to receive constructive criticism. It'll change your life.
Wow, man, these some good points, man.
Good nuggets.
Yeah, good nuggets. The one that I learned about the most is bald head and gray. Dr. Ron Garrett of the Bridge Center at Adams House. I want to thank you for coming on the Breakthrough Podcast.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm gonna be looking forward to coming back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Leon, any final thoughts?
Nah, man, I'm grateful and thankful, and appreciate your time and your wisdom and just your insight. I personally needed that, just to keep me on my path, and understanding that it's a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So just continuing to reiterate the patience thing. I needed that personally. So I just want to thank you for that, and wish you all the best, and hopefully we can connect sometime soon.
All right. Good
Likewise.
Deal. All right, y'all. Don't forget to follow us on Rise Small Biz. We're on Instagram, and all of the activities that we're doing with the RIDE initiative can be found at EDAC Morgan. That's edacmorgan.com. Until next time, continue discovering new pathways, and don't forget to always improve and progress. Peace.
Peace. Have a good one.
Peace.
This is Rich La Production.